Well, let's kind of slowly get started. I think probably there's a few people who will hop on in the next couple of minutes. People are used to the Tuesday and Friday classes start at 11, so people might be a little like, oh, it's 10. I should be online already. So, good morning, everyone. I was just explaining that there are 3 sessions a week. We actually added this session, partly because we were having waiting lists for the Tuesday loss, losing, and loosening group and the Friday kind of food for thought resilience group. So focusing this session, we've been feeling that having a focus to each session usually works. And so focusing this one on what wounded healer means for any of us has been pretty potent, just to say. And the truth is, it can mean whatever it means, you know, for you. And as we read and write together, so for those of you who haven't been in this square circle before, we'll go around and we'll do very brief introduction. I usually read. There's always a couple of poems. I will read one. We only respond really from our hearts. This isn't about figuring out what a poem means. It's just about how it touches us. And people just jump in after readings with responses. And then we'll have prompts and we'll do some writing together. And again, when we read to each other, we just get to respond to what touches us from each of our poems. And it's been a pretty amazing community in all 3 of these groups that has been going on for throughout the pandemic. So this has been quite a treat to hold these sessions online. So let's just start with going around, brief introductions, your name, where you sit in the world right now, and a couple of words or an image that might describe this morning, how you're feeling, what this wounded healer idea means to you, or just how you're feeling here and now today. Just an image or a word or two, and then we will get started after that. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Redwing Kesar. I'm here in San Francisco. I'm a nurse educator at UCSF with the Mary Center for Education and Palliative Care. It's always my honor to be here. And honestly, my word for today is kind of flummoxed, because I've been dealing with some internet issues in the house all morning that I didn't expect to have to deal with. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So the poems I'm going to read today are both from a woman, a poet named Mary Bradish O'Connor. Mary was also a psychotherapist, an amazing healer for people with complex mental health issues, as well as many people in a small community where I used to live. And as a healer, she spent several years really suffering with ovarian cancer, and kept writing throughout her treatment and kept seeing clients, and was quite a spark of light until the end of her life, and wrote a whole book of poems called Say Yes Quickly. So I shared these poems today from someone who herself was a wounded healer. And so again, as I read them, just Sometimes people jot down words or phrases or ideas that resonate for them, just noticing what touches you in a poem, what you respond to. And I'll read it twice just so that you know you'll have time to jot things down. So this first poem, also the title of her book, Say Yes Quickly. Get over it. There's a tear in the fabric of forever, and it's just the way it is. God didn't tap you on the back because you were a bad girl and today you pay for it. You did nothing wrong. It wasn't all the walks you didn't take or Irish luck that tossed you headlong into cancer. Consider this a wake-up call and live your gift of days with joy. Walk the edge where air is thin and clear, where fear can take you further. It's just another country. Chin up, step through the door. Each breath in, a miracle. Each breath out, a letting go. So I'll read it one more time. Say yes quickly. Get over it. There's a tear in the fabric of forever, and it's just the way it is. God didn't tap you on the back because you were a bad girl, and today you pay for it. You did nothing wrong. It wasn't all the walks you didn't take or Irish luck that tossed you headlong into cancer. Consider this a wake-up call and live your gift of days with joy. Walk the edge where air is thin and clear, where fear can take you further. It's just another country. Chin up, step through the door. Each breath in, a miracle. Each breath out, a letting go. So what words or phrase or concept in this poem resonates with you, jumps out at you, and just feel free to unmute and just.
Breath in a miracle, breath out a letting go.
There's a tear in the fabric of forever.
You did nothing wrong.
It wasn't all the walks you didn't take.
Live your gift of days.
Yeah. Where fear can take you further.
Walk, walk the edge.
So what we usually do is I suggest a prompt, but if there's a specific line or word in any poem that really resonates with you and you want to use that phrase as your prompt to start writing with, feel free. I would suggest we could either use consider this a wake-up call or live your gift of days. Again, if there's another line that you want to start with, go ahead. I will ring the bell and we will do a 5-minute write, and just allow yourself to just let come through what comes through without self-criticism or judgment. And when the bell rings, we're often not done, but that doesn't really matter. So go ahead and just allow words and feelings to come through. And if you'll mute yourself while you're writing, just so that we don't have distractions. So now we get to have the pleasure of hearing from each other, and whatever has come through is fine, whether you think it's a poem or not. Um, so just encourage us to read to each other and wondering who might be willing to start. So I'm going to go on to the next poem. And again, I'll read it twice and just listening for what resonates. This poem is called Midnight. What good are words when it's late at night and the wood stove mute and spring wind blowing silver chimes into chaos? No second sight illuminates the dark. No sudden knowing what to say or how it will all unfold. Still, the pencil moves across the empty page blindly, hopefully. Stories must be told wholly, with integrity, as we engage in splendid life. Our ocean is wild under a quarter moon, and the tame cat cold, curled under my arm like a trusting child. Stars glitter with light 1,000 years old. The world is asleep. Of God, there are small signs. I pause, then begin. Once upon a time. I'll read it once more. Midnight. What good are words when it's late at night and the wood stove mute and spring wind blowing silver chimes into chaos? No second sight illuminates the dark, no sudden knowing what to say or how it will all unfold. Still, the pencil moves across the empty page blindly, hopefully. Stories must be told wholly, with integrity, as we engage in splendid life. Our ocean is wild under a quarter moon, and the tame cat cold, curled under my arm like a trusting child. Stars glitter with light 1,000 years old. The world is asleep. Of God, there are small signs. I pause, then begin. Once upon a time. So what jumps out at you? What are you curious about? What resonates with you from this poem?
I pause, then begin. And there are small signs.
Spring wind blowing silver chimes into chaos.
Curled under my arm like a trusting child.
Light 1,000 years old.
Stories must be told wholly, with integrity.
Of God, there are small signs.
So once again, if there's a word, an idea, a phrase from this poem that you want to start with as your own prompt, feel free. We could start with stories must be told, or even once upon a time. And if you feel like you really want to go back and write more on the poem you started before, that's fine too. Or if you started the morning with an image that you just want to write about, do that too. So we'll go ahead and do another 5-minute write. Who would like to start the reading? So this idea that the wounds are the places where the light enters us. Thank you for opening, for letting ourselves, just all of us, just feel what comes through, be inspired to write more. We always ask that if you write something in these sessions that you really love and are willing and wanting to share, please send it to us. We now have our second edition of compilation of poems that have been written in the last year from our various workshops, and it's just so beautiful and amazing to see the collections of what has happened, of just what people allow through them in these few-minute writings. And some people go home and polish them up, others don't. But so please do send them to us if you've written something that comes through that you're willing to share. And we hope you'll join this session again. And again, there's a Tuesday and a Friday session at 11, often waiting list, but feel free to, if those timings work better, but if this focus works for you, please. Thank you.